Hey everyone, welcome back to our scenes. So in today's video we are going to talk about heating effects of electric current and also the practical applications and also about electric power and electric fuse. So what is this heating effect of electric current? We have normally observed that whatever appliances, electrical appliances which we use, they start to heat after a certain period of time. On a continuous usage, we have observed this, right? So, if I take an example of an electric fan, okay? So, I know that to make this fan work, I need to supply electricity to this. So, when I start supplying electricity, the electricity which I have supplied will be used to move the blades of that fan, right? So that it can move, rotate continuously and provide the necessary, work. So during this process, what you will observe is after a certain point, your fan will start to heat. So from where does this heat come? We have not supplied any electricity for, producing heat. So from where does this heat start to be produced? Okay, so whatever electricity we are supplying, not all electrical energy is used for doing work. Some of the electrical energy is lost in the form of heat. Okay, and that is the reason why our appliances start to heat. Okay, so it might be any electrical appliance, not only fan, it might be your charger, it might be your TV, radio, or whatever you're using, even your cell phone, what you use on your hand. So even that, after a certain point of usage, it will start to show heat. Okay, heat will be starting to generate. So that is all because of the loss of the heat. Okay, whatever electrical energy we are using from that, some of it is lost in the form of heat. Now, if at all the heat lost is more, it's very much high, in that case, your appliances have got some issues and your appliance is not working fine, right? We know this. We are already aware of it. This shows that our heating appliance have got some defect because in this case, if at all it's doing less work and producing more heat, definitely something is wrong with it. Okay, so, but there are some of the appliances, like for example, electric heater, okay, and electric iron, electric kettle, etc., where the job of the appliance is to produce heat. We need heat. Because of the heat only, we are actually taking work from them, right? So in this case, what we want to do is, what we actually need is, whatever electrical energy we are supplying or whatever electricity we are supplying to the appliance, we want the entire thing to be converted into heat. So in this case, to get everything to be converted into heat, what we do is, we are adding resistors here, okay? So by adding resistors here, what will happen is everything, whatever electricity you are supplying, everything will be starting to convert into heat, and that is how we are taking use of it. And this is where we call it as the heating effect of electric current. Okay, so this is what we actually need. So next, let's see how we can derive a formula for the heat released. We're going to start with the power input, how much power we are going to give or how much power you are supplying. So this power can be calculated by two formulas. Okay, one is V into I. This I, in case if they have not given I to you, you can substitute this I with Q upon T. So this is nothing but charge upon time. Okay, so that is what is happening here. V into Q upon T, that is charge, number of charges actually moving in so and so time. Okay, so either this or this. Now, since we are calculating the heat released during the power, we are going to multiply. See, it actually works like this. P into T is going to give you the heat produced. Okay, so now my P is nothing but V into I. So that V into I am going to keep down over here along with this T. and that is how I'm going to get the heat produced, the amount of heat produced in the particular time. Next, we are going to talk about Joule's law. So what they have done over here is, this particular formula we have used, and we are actually applying Ohm's law to this particular formula to get Joule's law. So we're going to see that. See here, just a while back what we have seen is H is equal to VIT. Now here what you can see here is H is equal to I square RT. So how does this R, how can this R come over here? So according to Ohm's law, we know that V is equal to IR. So what they have done here is, in place of this V, they have replaced it with IR. So now if you see, I into I square, R and T. So that is how you have got this particular formula. And this equation is known as Joule's law of heating. So according to Joule's law of heating, very easy to remember Joule's law of heating. It appears for 1 mark along with the equation. Okay, so just concentrate here. So the law implies that heat produced in a resistor is directly proportional to the square of the current for a given resistance, directly proportional to the resistance for a given current, directly proportional to the time with which for which the current flows through the resistor. So it's directly proportional to the square of the current, it's directly proportional to the resistance, it's directly proportional to the time. So that is how we can define it directly from your formula itself. The definition starts. Now let's talk about the practical applications of heating effect of electric current. We have got to study 2 things under this, and one is regarding your tungsten bulb, and the other one is supposed to be your electric fuse. So we are going to see about this filament tungsten bulb. Okay, as I said before, your practical application of heating effect is nothing but it's used in the form of your heating appliances, right? Like your electric heater, electric kettle, toaster, oven, etc., etc. Other than this, this heating effect is also used for lighting your objects, like for example light. Okay, any kind of light. But we are going to deal with the tungsten one, the filament bulb first. Okay, this is the main part what we are going to study. This was designed first under this category. So talking about tungsten, see here, when we are supplying tungsten, how does it work? Okay, so you know that when we actually switch it on, electricity will start to supply inside the bulb. This electricity will be used to heat this tungsten filament. As you can see on the screen, you can see the tungsten bulb, you can see all the parts of it. And so what will be done here is the tungsten will start to heat. Okay, it will be starting to heat. As it's heating, after a certain point, it will start to glow. After heating to that particular extent, the tungsten will start to glow, and that is how you'll be getting the necessary light which you are actually expecting. So this tungsten is used for the following reasons. Okay, because we need something which can heat up pretty quickly, which can glow, for a longer time without any wear, tear and all. So what are the reasons for using tungsten here? Okay, the first one here, it does not oxidize readily at high temperature. So even if you supply high temperature, there even because of the high amount of electricity, if the temperature rises, then too the tungsten will not oxidize. It won't react with any other oxygen present around. It won't oxidize. You won't see any oxidization on it. Next, it has high melting point, 3380 degrees Celsius. This is pretty high. So that means that whatever electricity you are supplying, there is no chance of tungsten to be melted. Okay, so it will withstand such very high temperatures, so no issues with it. Next, the bulb is filled with chemically inactive gases like nitrogen, argon, etc. to prolong the life of the filament. Now this is one important thing. See here, tungsten cannot be oxidized at high temperature. It is having a very high melting point, but with the atmospheric oxygen and all, it can actually cause some changes. So to save it from that, the bulb which you can see on the screen, the bulb inside encloses either nitrogen or argon. So this will not allow tungsten to react with any other substance. It is completely tightly packed, so it will keep it in good condition for a longer time. That is the reason why these bulbs, they actually have a longer life period. Okay. So next, let's talk about electric fuse. What is this electric fuse? This is nothing but a safety device which will protect not only your appliances, your entire house, your entire domestic supply, what you get at your home. The entire thing is kept safe through electric fuse. As you can see on the screen, how does electric fuse look? Okay, it's present everywhere around your main switch and all. Okay, so this electric fuse, what does it have? First we are going to see that. So fuse is actually having a ceramic body, as you can see in the here. The outside body is completely ceramic. Inside you will have a thin wire. Okay, again you can see on the screen there, it's either made up of a tin or an alloy of copper or something. Okay, very thin wire will be connected there. This wire is connected with the series, okay, in series combination with live wire. So it's directly in contact with the main wire of electricity. So what happens here is, whatever electricity is coming to your house, it will pass through the fuse wire and then enter your house. So electricity has to go through fuse wire and then enter your house. So in case when the voltage is very high, or the current supply is more than necessary, which can cause harm to your domestic supply, this fuse wire will, as the current is supplying to this, the fuse wire will start to melt and it will cut down the electricity. The fuse wire, because of the melting, what will happen is, because of the high amount of electricity, the fuse wire will melt, and when it has melted, the current supply will be stopped. And this is how your domestic your house and your entire appliances, everything will be saved. Then later on you can just change, you can take the ceramic out, you can change the wire, and that is how your house will be left out. Otherwise it might also burn your house because of short circuit and all. So here, whatever wire we are using, it's having a low melting point. As said before, because of high electricity, it can melt down very, very easily. And that is the reason why we use low melting point wire. Next, let's talk about electric power. So, electric power is defined as the rate at which electrical energy is consumed or dissipated in an electric circuit. So in short, what they mean is, electric power is what you use, electricity which you use, how much you use, at what rate you are using it, that is defined as electric power. So the formula for electric power is P is equal to VI, okay, what we have seen before, but you can substitute V and I with respect to Ohm's law. So either you can put V is equal to IR or I is equal to VR. In case if you are using I is equal to VR, so in place of I am going to substitute VR, okay, with respect to this. This is by Ohm's law. So now V into V is equal to V square upon R. So P is also going to be V square upon R. And in the other case, what I can do is, I can substitute V as IR, like here. In place of V, I am going to put IR and then into I into I square R. So either this or this formula will also work. Now, regarding the SI unit of power is nothing but watt, okay, but for our commercial usage, whatever electricity we are using, we don't use watt, we use kilowatt. So what is this kilowatt? We'll talk about it later, but we are going to see what is 1 watt first. 1 watt is nothing but it is equal to 1 volt into 1 ampere. So if at all you are having an electricity, or if you are using current at the rate of 1 ampere for 1 volt, then it's going to be called as 1 watt. Since we are not using watt but we are using kilowatt for our commercial purpose, we take it as kilowatt per hour. That means in 1 hour, if you're using 1 kilowatt, then it's considered as the one commercial unit. Your electricity, whatever you're using, it's calculated in terms of units. This unit, 1 unit is equal to 1 kilowatt hour. So 1 kilowatt hour, if we are actually converting into joules, the value is supposed to be 3.6 into 10 to the power of 6 joules. Okay, this is the value for 1 kilowatt in terms of joules. Okay, in terms of watts, if you see, it's going to be 1000 watts. 1 kilowatt, right? So it's going to be 1000 watts. This is just the units. Okay, so you remember that commercial unit of electricity, 1 unit, what we call in whenever you are calculating your electricity consumption for a month, the electricity bill will be, it will be showing you how many units you have used. That unit is nothing but that much kilowatt hours. Okay, based on this you have got problems, and all the problems together I have done in one particular video. You can check it out, and if you have got any doubt, you can let me know in the comment section, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching.